this weekend, hundreds of volunteers, they're going to be headed out all around the city of San Diego, and they're going to be cleaning up the fire stations. Why? Well, because the city's run out of money. And joining me this morning, Miles McPherson, the pastor at the Rock Church. Of course, you probably recognize him. And then Fire Chief Javier Maynard, and with the San Diego Fire Department. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Thanks for coming in. Let's talk about this, and we'll get to you in a second, Chief. But the Rock Church is sort of setting an example for a lot of people, a lot of volunteer groups out there that, you know what, we need to pitch in right now. This is the time. So what are you guys going to do?
Well, we're going to 14 fire stations, actually 13 fire stations and the headquarters, and we're going to refresh them, do some landscaping, painting, and fixing stuff inside. We did this a couple months ago. We did 7 fire stations. Last year, we gave the mayor 166,000 hours of volunteer service at a value of $2.6 million. So this year, we're going for 200,000 hours to get to the mayor, because of the budget cuts in San Diego.
My goodness. And Chief, obviously, this is going to help you out because, you know, your neck has been on the chopping block pretty much since the beginning of this crisis, and they keep cutting fire services, perhaps to make a point, but perhaps, you know, that's the only place they can find to cut. Wink, wink. Anyway, this is going to help you out a lot.
You know, absolutely. The brownouts are the most visible of the cuts we've taken in fire rescue,
Right.
but over the years we've taken a lot of reductions.
Sure.
Part of that, the maintenance activities, and without this effort, that maintenance simply wouldn't happen. And the firefighters, even though they try to keep up with it, they're now so busy on emergency calls that they just no longer have time to do some of that maintenance work.
Exactly. And Miles, the Rock Church has been so involved in this community locally. We have video from previous places that you have cleaned up. I remember the Starlight Theater. I think you took out every single seat, every single seat out of the Starlight Theater, painted it, and put it back, and now it's got a fresh coat of paint on it.
We took out 3,800 seats. You can see the work there. 3,800 seats and painted the framing. We took out 45,000 pounds of trash, recarpeted the offices, painted the dressing rooms, and now we're painting inside the bowl itself. That took a couple of maybe 10 days of work. I can't remember, but it was more than a week.
And these people don't get paid a penny. They're just out there for the love of helping.
Yeah, and love helping, loving. You know, we want to love our neighbor, and I think the Starlight Bowl estimated the work at $100,000.
Wow.
But it was a blessing, and now we have some great friends at the Starlight Bowl.
Yeah, you definitely do.
Yeah.
No doubt about it.
It's all based on my book, Do Something That You Have in Your Hand. And,
exactly.
Came out in January, and it's encouraging everybody to do something. We all can do something. We have 100 ministries around San Diego that work in 7 days a week doing stuff in San Diego.
Yeah.
So we're very honored and blessed to do that.
Absolutely. And more, Chief, I guess we're relying on, you know, just the citizens out there to help out because of the way the budget crisis is. And this really kind of sets a good example, doesn't it, for other groups and other people?
It absolutely does. Rock Church has been a great friend to San Diego Fire Rescue and the city as a whole. As Pastor McPherson said, they did this a couple of months back, helped 7 of our fire stations. There are 600 volunteers coming out to these fire stations. Yeah. I had the chance last time around to go out and visit with many of the groups at the stations. They're all smiling, they're happy, some of them picking up a paintbrush for the very first time, but the interaction between the firefighters and the community members of this church is just fantastic.
It sure is. And people, I'm sure, you know, your church is huge. How many people do you have come through on Sundays?
About 13,000 people.
12 or 13,000 people. So you reach a pretty captive audience, and you have a good audience. And but there are other people, obviously, who could help out. If other people in the community are listening right now and they want to come help out, they can do that.
Well, this particular event, we have as many volunteers as we can take.
You're chock full?
We're going to have one on December 11th where we're going to do our 14th consecutive Toys for Joy event. Last year, we gave out toys and clothes and food to over 8,300 people. So we'll be repeating that again this year. But let me say, City Fest is an event coming September 11th at Mission Bay, and I think there are about 500 churches around San Diego doing this kind of thing. And so we're not the only ones, and we want to give a shout out to those churches. There's a lot of goodwill going around San Diego through the churches of San Diego.
Absolutely. I know my church does a lot of things, Catholic Church down in PB. But yeah, we appreciate your help and, you know, the efforts that you're putting forward are, you know, making a difference out there in the community, a real difference that we can see. Starlight Theater, these fire stations, and Chief, obviously, this is going to be a good thing for you.
No, absolutely. We're so pleased and grateful for all of the efforts of those volunteers and Pastor's leadership on that. We're very thankful. Would not have happened. Improves the firefighters' lives, helps the community, saves taxpayer dollars. No losers in this one.
All right, good deal. Miles, Chief, thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you, brother.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.